Normally I wouldn't approach ya without a formal introduction. Never been the type to move fast, but I'm feeling early eruption. Now tell me, are you down with that? Once you rock with me, ain't no coming back. I need a monkey, come hold me down. A real queen, now come wear this crown. Now we rockin' like, oh, holler out, flex up. Now we rockin' like, oh, I'll tell you what's next up. Now we rockin' like, oh, holler out, flex up. Now we rockin' like, oh, I'll tell you what's next up.
All right. Welcome everyone to another Subtle Flex podcast. Eventually, myself, Mario, you guys already know him. He's been on a plethora of my episodes, right? And shout out to Sleepy Boy right now, Kyle, who does night shift out there in Georgia. It's always gonna be us three when we talk baseball. I always add others that want to chime in, but the core three will be us. You know, it will be on the Subtle Flex YouTube, but it'll be on a different channel for you baseball heads, so we could talk. If you see behind me, that hat right there, you see the hat that Mario's wearing? We're talking about face of the franchise. You see, the first one we ever did was about the San Francisco Giants. We already talked about them. Now we're going across the bridge to a team that could potentially go to the desert. And we're talking about Mario. Mario has so much emotion and so much stress and anger he wants to get out that I love it that we have content to talk about it. Okay, Mario. Before we start, going off, I just want you to spill out whatever's on your mind about this team before we even get into topics.
All right, trying to figure out where to start here. Grew up an A's fan, die hard. That was the only baseball I would watch. Nothing but A's baseball. Mark Kotze, Mark Ellis, Eric Chavez, Barry Zito, you name it. I was there for all of that.
I love that pitching staff that Barry Zito was on.
Like I said, the whole Moneyball, I watched that all. I watched every single one of those games up until I think it was like the last years they had Frank Thomas that was there for a while. I was watching all those games. I was in middle school. I have a lot of love as well as I have a lot of hurt for the Oakland A's because they don't like to spend money on their players, and I call them I call them, like I said, I will always call them the 31st minor league team. I'll stand by that, which is unfortunate because the city of Oakland is a fantastic city.
Yes, it is,
and it's an up and coming city, is how I look at it. The people of Oakland are fantastic. The fans are as loyal as they come. They've lost their NBA team across the bay. They've lost their football team to Las Vegas. They could potentially lose the Oakland A's. I've heard so many places. I've heard 3 or 4 different places that they could be moving to between, Fremont, Santa Clara was another one, Alameda, and what was the other place? Who were we talking about? The other place? The one you were talking about, the waterfront one?
No, that's the one towards Alameda, the Howard Terminal.
Yeah. Okay, I've heard it all. My issue with these teams is, even in all sports, is they want the city to front the money for the stadiums. I get it, but I've been following Oakland's mayor Libby Schaaf for a long time, and that woman plays hardball when it comes to stuff like that, and she doesn't want the taxpayers to foot the bill for these billion or multi-$100 million organizations that should be able to front their own bill for them. I feel like sports are better when those, what you would call, I guess, smaller market teams are thriving and succeeding.
Right.
But at the end of the day, something's got to give. You know what I mean? Something's got to give. Libby Schaaf don't want to pay that money, which I don't blame her. She didn't want to pay it with the Raiders. She didn't want to pay it with the Warriors. Like, the A's are no different. The Oakland Coliseum is the worst stadium in baseball. It was the worst stadium in football, which it was the same stadium. It's a terrible stadium. I love it there because, like, you get a lot of the diehards that always go,
right,
which is fantastic. Yeah. Like, those fans are some diehards, but they've been getting essentially shit on for years because John Fisher, the owner of the A's, is very tight with his money and doesn't want to spend money for players. So, like, at that point in time, how are you expected to compete? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a lot of love and a lot of hate for the A's.
We're going
you know?
we're
You
gonna
can
dig
only
into
you can
that.
only do so much when you don't pay your players. You know what I mean? Like, you're Oakland. They call Oakland a small market, but you're in Silicon Valley. You're right across the bridge from San Francisco. It's not that small.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You got smaller markets like Tampa, who was able to put a competitive team out every year and compete for a playoff spot almost every year, and yet the A's can't do the same. That's just wild to me. You know what I mean? As a former A's fan, and I guess still at heart, I still love the A's. It's just wild to me that that's what the route that they're going by. Because if you go down the roster, all of their stars are gone.
Yeah.
I could name you a countless list of stars that they've lost. They've lost Matt Olson. They've lost Josh Donaldson.
Chapman.
They've lost. What's that?
Matt Chapman, Marcus Simeon.
Matt Chapman. Sean Manea's gone.
Yes.
Like they've lost all these players who have gone on to be stars for other teams because they don't want to pay. They don't want to fork over the money for these guys, and that's just wild to me.
It really
hurts.
is wild because if you think about it, if you are a true baseball fan, like not just like whatever team you're on, that's all you care about. If you're a true baseball fan, y'all know the culture of the A's always been that way. They grow their team to a playoff team, and then they don't want to sign them, and they go elsewhere to become better. Like, come on, Giambi going to the Giants, or just
It's
recently,
been
like
a long
you said,
time coming.
like Matt Olson going to the Braves, Matt Chapman going up to Toronto, like Sean Manaea going down there to freaking San Diego, like all these
Zito when he went to the Giants. You had Mark Mulder when he left. You had what was his name? He played with the Giants
McGuire
for a
going
little
to
bit,
the freaking Cardinals. Like you could go back and date it back to then. There's so many names that you could think of that says, "Wow, Oakland, you pretend like you could have had a lot of rings in the '90s, into the 2000s, and currently. Like if you think about it, last year, right? Because that's where we're gonna start with this. Last year, they were third place in the AL West. Excuse me. Right, of course you're not gonna do a lot against the Astros. They're a phenomenal, even though they cheated, but they're a phenomenal team, right? But they were 86 and 76, so 10 above 500. That's a winning record. But what happens next? They break it all up. So last year's team, we talked about it. Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, like the hot corners, right? The hot corner in first base. So, some of the great gloves in our game. They're real good hitters, especially Matt Olson. And then you just let them go. You know what I mean? Like they're gone. So Matt Olson just walked. Did he just walk, or did he get traded there?
No, they traded him.
It was for Langelier, huh?
There, yeah.
It was for
No, it was a free agent thing. He got signed.
He got signed, and Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. Because they didn't want the Braves didn't want to pay Freeman, or they did. We'll never know the whole story. And then Matt Olson, who was essentially a younger, better, higher ceiling version of Freeman in their eyes, is who they gave that money that they could have given Freeman to.
All right, we'll talk about the offseason, Mario. Talk to us about the typical A's not spending their money. I mean, essentially, the Giants kind of do the same thing. I mean, they do pay their stars, but they don't get busy in the offseason like these other teams do.
The difference, though, between the Giants and the A's is the Giants kind of ride a little bit off of nostalgia. They ride a little bit nostalgia.
A little too much.
So yeah, a little too much off of nostalgia. So they get that, but the A's they just I'm looking at this roster of 2021, the difference between 2021 and the roster now.
Night and day.
Insane.
Night and day.
Like you have maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 C to B players. You know what I mean? And I'm just it's insane. Ramon Laureano is kind of figuring it out a little bit. Jed Lowry is way past his prime. Tony Kemp is never going to be anything but a platoon guy.
Yeah, Elvis Andrews overpaid.
Had a short shelf life in Texas. Sean Murphy is it's a solid catcher. but he's probably going to be gone soon. I'm looking
Yeah.
at Frankie Montes. He's been talked about for a trade deadline for an eternity,
Yes.
and
They're talking
you
about
know,
him. They're talking. I'm glad you said that. They're talking about because he's considerably like the A's best player right now, right? And they already have talks to him going back to the team that drafted him, which is the Chicago
yeah,
White Sox. There,
yeah,
there's a big chance he's gonna go there. And like, if I'm him, get me out of there. Get me out of this circus. Like, what
yeah,
they're what 23 and 47 right now as we speak, as of
yeah.
23rd June. They are dead last in their division, and I want to say they're dead
No,
last in the whole AL.
they're
Yes,
going
they
to stay
are.
dead last.
They're dead
They're going to stay
last.
dead last.
They are dead last.
And the thing, and what's crazy is like they got like, you always ask somebody who's like going to be a buyer or a seller. Obviously, they're not going to be buyers, but like, what have they got to sell? You know what I mean? What have they got to sell?
I mean, I'm a little bit of a fan of Paul Blackburn. I mean, I'm not saying he's like nasty, but I mean,
Blackburn's all right. Caperland's all right.
Cole Irvin's another one.
Puck is average. Like, this team is brutal, man.
Like you said, Sean Murphy. He might be the next one out. Then you have Elvis Andrews.
The ass man, Sean
I
Murphy.
wouldn't even want to talk about Elvis Andrews. Like, this man's like 15 million this year, and he's he's horrible to me.
Did you say 15 million?
Yes, he's getting paid 15 million this year. I think this is his
That's
last year.
insane.
Yep, this is the last year of his contract, 15 year. At
That's
33 years old,
insane.
who hasn't produced at all. But we're gonna bash on the Athletics a lot, right? But like we said, the culture wise, it's always been the same. It's always groomed these guys. Like you said, it's a AAA team because they'll get them good.
Yep.
And they send them out to another team to be better. Like we
Yep.
talk about that. So let's talk about their prospect. We briefly did before going live, and let's talk about some of these young studs like Max Muncy. Of course, it's not the one that you like. You know what I mean? It's not the one
No,
from
I
the
mean,
Dodgers.
yeah, hey.
But
I mean, that Max Muncy started with the A's, too.
that's another prime example, right? That's another prime example. So with Max
That
Muncy,
Max
right?
Muncy started with the A's, too, man.
Where is he at?
And what's crazy was they did something super uncharacteristically last year, was they had traded for Starling Marte, which was awesome.
Right.
He was having a fantastic season because they were, surprisingly, they were trying to make a run for the playoffs. Missed it. Big surprise there. But now he's gone.
Where do you
But
go?
when you look at their prospects, like, I don't want to say this.
Marte
but, like,
went to the
they got
Mets,
some
right?
guys- What's that? Yeah, he went to the Nets.
But go ahead, my
But
bad.
like I'm looking at their prospects, and I don't want to say this, but like these guys, they got some guys that are going to be some stars for some other teams in the future.
Which is so sad to say, knowing that we're baseball fans. Just to say it, like Max Muncy.
It's true.
Shea Langelier, like
Shea Langeliers, I think is that Langeliers.
yes, whatever but he's another good prospect though. You have Gunnar Hoglund. Are you a big fan of him? Because I don't know nothing about him.
He's pretty decent. He's got some pretty good stuff. But like they got guys that like aren't even like projected to be anywhere until like 2024. Like what are you gonna do until then? Just be the bottom of the barrel?
Yeah, this franchise, man, and it sucks because I posted it on Facebook. You commented, a lot of others commented, and a lot of it says exactly what you just said. It is sad because Oakland. I know I'm from San Francisco, Daly City to be exact, though. But I grew up in both sides of that border.
Yeah.
But for Oakland, to me, in my opinion, that is the heart of the Bay Area. That literally is the heart. You want to talk about athletics? A lot of good athletes come out of Oakland, more than it does in San Francisco. A lot of them, like
Not even that. Just like culturally, Oakland is fantastic.
yes, Oakland Roots is their thing right now, right? They have this thing called Oakland Roots, and
I got some Oakland Roots stuff that I bought myself.
dude, it's just sad because, like you said, the culture there, the people there, everything. Like they have a bad rep because of back in the day. Well, it's still the same, but for the most part, like everywhere is the same. Like it's gonna have stuff like that too. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, you
They
take a wrong turn
deserve.
to San Francisco and you wind up in the Tenderloin. You know what I mean?
It's yeah, exactly. But you look at Oakland as a city, they deserve one of their teams. And if I had to choose out of the three, it had to be the Athletics.
Yeah.
They're what? I want to say number 4 overall in most World Series. I want to say that. It goes Yankees.
I
Hold on. It goes
I couldn't
Yankees, Cardinals. Hold on. I had
like
this
most
list.
World Series wins or appearances.
Wins. They have 9. They have one more than us. But I don't know where they are in. Let me look this up.
Yeah, let's take a look. See while we're here.
Because I want to say, because you know the Yankees with their 27, but I want to say they're
Yeah, I'll never
third
hear
or
the end of it
fourth.
from a Yankees fan. Oh, it's a tie for third.
Them and who? The
A's and Red
Cardinals?
Sox at 9.
Yeah,
A's
see?
and Red Sox at 9.
Cardinals is
Cardinals
number
got
2.
11.
Yeah. So you
Yeah,
have the Yankees, Cardinals. You got 2 tied at 9. And then
Giants
you
number 5.
Giants number 5, top 5. Okay, that's what I have to say. But that's neither here nor there. That's a different topic. But the A's,
Yeah, you're right.
historically, are tied for third for most World Series. Now, you know, the Red Sox are sitting a little bit better than them to get a ring to, you know, break that tie. But
Yeah.
come on now, you got history. You're a top 5 franchise with rings in a sport that's well over since the 1800s. You're talking about this is one thing I love about the baseball history, right? Because when if anyone didn't know, I went to Cooperstown and got to see a lot of the museum stuff. A lot of these people, a lot of people got drafted to the war. You know what I mean? They fought for this country, and that's how far back it goes. Like, bro, it didn't matter if you're a pro baseball player. Like, your ass is going. You can't say that. You can't say that about the NBA as much. Can't say that about the NFL as much because they don't date that far back as much. Like baseball, that's why they call it America's pastime. But within those dates,
I can only think of 2 guys from the NFL that went and like joined the military after playing. I can only think of 2 guys, and that was Tillman, Pat Tillman, which is the famous one, and then was it Glenn Coffey, the guy who used to be the running back for the Niners?
Yeah.
He became an Army Ranger.
Yeah, so
Those are the only guys I can think of.
There's more, but but they're not going to be as big as a lot of the, because back in the day, World War I and II, even the Korean War, or Korean conflict, like you can date back a lot of these baseball players, a lot of them, and that's why it's like, but the magnitude of what I'm saying is you have this big wide range of like history, and you're the top 5 franchise. Why Oakland? Why would you even think to get rid of your? First of all, that mayor. How did you feel about this? Because a lot of people didn't like Libby being at the parade. Shout out to this team for winning their 7th, breaking the tie of 3rd with the Chicago Bulls to get number 7. But everyone was like, the nerve of you.
All right, I don't think she's a bad mayor. First of all, also she should have been at the parade. Because the Warriors, they ain't the San Francisco Warriors. They ain't the Oakland Warriors. They're the Golden State Warriors. They represent both sides of the Bay Area. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She just plays hardball. And the thing is, like, yeah, would fans be mad if they lost their teams? Of course. You saw that with the Raiders. Saw it with the Warriors. But at the end of the day, like, do you, as a citizen of Oakland, want to front the money out of your tax dollars, which would be you paying more tax dollars to foot that bill? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
it's just the only man. I'm just saying, because now we're gonna talk about it, right? The rumors of them leaving Oakland, right? Because they can't, figure this out. But I've seen and I've shared it with you that the Howard Terminal out there in Oakland, right? I've seen pictures. You know how they have like construction. They have Europeans coming here to do this architect, and it's a beautiful thing. Because Oakland is an industrial city, and it's known for their shipping yards, right? There's these 2 ancient cranes that's out there that they're going to utilize for like its attraction, and it's a beautiful like layout of.
Yeah.
It's typical Northern California, by the way. Walking trails everywhere. The like the
Man, I
whole.
love Oakland.
Listen, the whole thing was beautiful. The
Oakland.
stadium that they even have a watch party area where like they can actually watch from outside in a grassy hill area into the stadium. Like you can't get,
Yeah.
you already know how it's gonna be smelling like Zaza out there all day. But
Yeah.
that's beside the point. What I'm saying is, when I saw that, it gave me hope, and I'm not even an A's fan. It gave me hope to say, because come on, Battle of the Bay is something that people look forward to, and it's a historic thing. You got to talk about in '89 when they went to the World Series and the earthquake happened. Come on now, like there's history here with the Giants and A's. There's no bad blood like the Dodgers and Giants, but it's bragging rights for who's the best out of that Bay Bridge, and I really feel like they need to stay for the culture. One, to give hope to Oakland, man. Like Oakland, like you said, they just need something to cheer for. You take that away, now what? Like, what you want them to cheer for now? What do you think little kids over there are going to start doing now? You're giving them more free time to do anything else.
Yeah. I think that losing all these teams. First of all, losing two massive teams in almost consecutive years, for the most part, like hurts. Hurts not just that, but also hurts the city. You know what I mean? That's revenue that you're no longer bringing in.
That's money.
You know, and with the way of the world is now, you know, with all these prices going up and stuff like that, like you're gonna need money and you're gonna find them somewhere. And I feel like taxes are only gonna get higher. You know.
It sucks.
I don't know, man. I feel for the people of Oakland. I'm in a lot of, you know, Oakland Raider pages on Facebook and stuff like that, and like these people, they're justifiably upset. You know,
they have a right to. They have a right to.
Yeah, you know, you grew up with this team. The Raiders left you not once, but twice. You know what I mean? They left to LA, then they came back, then they left to Vegas. You know, you dealt with that. The Warriors that have been there since they left Michigan, right? Not the Warriors, not Michigan. What were the Warriors at before?
Philly.
The Warriors were Philly. I was thinking of the Lakers. Lakers were Michigan. Yeah, the Warriors were in Philly before, and then they've been in Oakland almost ever since. And then they leave. You know, it's just. I feel bad, man. I just feel bad for those people. For me, like, it don't affect me that much because, like, I'm living in Georgia right now. But, like, I get it. And, like, I'm still a fan of those teams because, like, you're talking to a guy who's been in the military for 11 years, and I move every 3 years. You know what I mean? So, like, I get it. But, like, that sucks.
It sucks, too, because you're talking about Las Vegas taking them, right? That's the biggest rumor right now. Is one, you know, Vegas is a growing city. As much as people don't want to believe that, it's a growing city.
It is.
It's besides just the strip itself. They already
Henderson's going too, just outside of Las Vegas.
Say it again.
Henderson is growing too, just outside of Las Vegas.
So you got the T-Mobile Arena that hosts a plethora of freaking UFC matches. They're the home of the Golden Knights. For hockey,
the Golden Knights.
Now they have an WNBA team there, Las Vegas Aces, and now you have this monstrosity of a arena, or you know, this coliseum, so to speak, of the Oakland Raiders, right? Why wouldn't they want it? Because one, they already announced in the NBA that Las Vegas is one of the two that's going to be part of the expansion teams, right? You have Seattle getting back to Sonics, hopefully. They better not change it. It better be the fucking Sonics.
No, they might change the name, but
Seattle.
They would be stupid to not call them Seattle.
Seattle is just like Oakland, just like Sacramento, just like these small markets that have diehards, right? That is one of the biggest fan base. They'll go to Portland, Oregon, to a Trailblazer game in Sonics jerseys just to say, hey, we're still here. They deserve their team too. But that's a different story. But like I said, the Sonics and Vegas are coming back, or the Seahawks, Seattle and Vegas are getting teams for the NBA.
Yep.
So now you're talking about the NBA, the WNBA, the NHL, and the NFL, all and the UFC because UFC is big over there, and those are the 5 major sports. They're only missing Major League Baseball. I think they have an MLS
Yep.
team. I mean, I'm not big on soccer, but they probably
Seattle?
do. No. I know the
Sounders.
Kraken.
No, they got the Sounders. The Kraken's a hockey team.
Hockey team, yeah, but my bad. I'm talking about Vegas. I think they have an MLS team. I don't know.
I don't think they have. They don't have a soccer team. They just have hockey and football right now.
And the
I think
crazy,
they have WNBA, don't they?
yeah, that's why I brought that up already. The
Yeah.
Aces.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
they
have,
got WNBA.
you have Golden Knights for the NHL. You have the Las Vegas Aces of WNBA. You got the Las Vegas Raiders, right? And then you're now gonna have a Las Vegas basketball team. Now you're looking at.
I think the biggest win that the Oakland fans can have is if the Giants, or not the Giants, is if the A's stay in Fremont or Alameda.
They have
It won't be Oakland, but I mean, you got the Niners. It's still the San Francisco Niners, but they're the Santa Clara Niners. You know what I mean? That's like an hour away.
It's the same thing
You know
with
what I mean?
Dallas Cowboys. They're in Arlington, Texas, not Dallas. It's the same thing.
Well, but Dallas and Arlington is almost like the same city.
But it's still not Dallas. Like, it's in Arlington.
Yeah, but like Santa Clara is like not even close to San Francisco.
I mean, it's not that far. You said an hour.
It's like an hour.
It's not an hour away. Yeah,
45
maybe
minutes.
on Highway 101 on rush hour.
Yeah,
Maybe.
45 minutes.
But
But that'll be the biggest win for A's fans is if they keep them in Fremont or in Alameda, because I don't think Oakland is gonna budge. But I mean, like Alameda is essentially Oakland, anyways, for the most part.
it's the sister city.
But-
So
Yeah, it's
you got
literally
the whole
like,
East Bay, Hayward, Alameda, all those areas
Yeah.
right there. That's all. It's all Richmond, Vallejo, if you want to add them.
I
That's
just,
all them.
they just do Oakland such a disservice because like you could set something up like San Francisco, the Giant Stadium is in like such like a perfect area.
It is.
And I'm like, why can't the A's do something like that? Somewhere within like a 5-minute Uber drive of like Jack London Square, something like that. You know what I mean? Like that'd be perfect. But again, it all
My
boils
question
down to
is
money.
this,
It all
'cause you're
boils
from
down to John Fisher being a cheap ass.
That's
So-
where I was going with this. Ownership is what it is, and I'll put a great example with the team that's right here. Right, Warriors fans understand the struggle they've been throughout the years. I'm talking
Yeah.
about back in the day before Oklahoma City Thunder was a thing. There was a mascot named Thunder in the game, right?
Yeah.
You talk about 26 wins every year, always in the top 10 in the lottery. But what happened after that was in 2010, is when Joe Lacob and all of them, Peter Guber, they bought the team, and they changed the culture. They changed it from
Yeah.
the orange and teal We Believe jerseys to teal, navy blue and orange to this color,
Yeah.
the throwback colors back, changing the culture, starting with that, starting to get better players, drafting well, and the whole
Yep.
culture changed. And look at them now. They're the champions, but the reason why I brought it up is they're the highest salary capped team right now. They're overpaid. And why is that? Because ownership knows how to, bring in lucrative money.
They want to win.
And they know how to
They
do
want
it.
to win.
So
And like I get you don't want to get into the what is it, the tax threshold, the that for sports, and like I get that, but like, do you want to win or do you just want to be an owner of a team?
that's what it seems like. It seems like
You know what I mean? Like what are we doing? Because like if you want to be the owner of a team, you're gonna have a stadium where you're gonna get less people in the park than you do at a minor league baseball game.
3,000 is the most.
Yes.
That is sad.
I've been to minor league games with more people, which is
sad.
insane.
Which
But
this summer I'm doing the same.
But that's not because the fans are not loyal. So those fans are insane. A's fans are wild, but like,
Oh yeah.
what are they there to support? A team that's gonna go 40 and 122. You know what I mean? Like, what are they there to support? Like, what? Why would you go and spend in this economy your hard-earned money to go see this trash on the field?
And there's still gonna be people going because even
Because they're
though
loyal.
yeah, but when with a bad team comes $10 tickets.
Yeah, but like,
come free tickets.
I miss the days when they had Sean Doolittle and you'd have him coming out to Metallica and you'd have people headbanging in the outfield. You know what I mean? Like, that was dope. That was awesome. You know,
Edwin Diaz right now has the best come out of the bullpen intros, man. I cannot wait because that's another episode we're gonna start talking about the New York Mets. But for this team though, how long do you think it's gonna take for them to turn this 23-47 record around? Now I know it's not this year, may not be next year, but like we said, ownership needs to change because of it. But I don't see this team competing. Texas Rangers right now are like buyers. Like you see what they did with Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. The Angels, you already know when you have the GOAT and Mike Trout on that team, and you got Showtime Shohei. A lot, and then Jarrett Walsh is killing for them. Seattle's another up and coming team. They know how to groom their prospects.
Yeah, Seattle's got a good thing going so far. They're putting the pieces together. I think they overspent on Robbie Ray off of a anomaly year, but the Seattle's doing pretty good. The Angels are always going to be the Angels. The Angels are always going to be the Angels.
We'll talk about
that's how I look at them. I pulled out of the Angel hype train a long time ago, just like I pulled out of the Atlanta Falcons hype train a long time ago. Like, they are who they are. They're going to be a team that overspends on players and can't maximize the talent. That's all. They did it with Pujols. They did it with Rendon. Like, they got they did it with Upton. You know what I mean? That's just going to be the team that they are. I look out for Seattle. I think Seattle. Well, then nobody's talking about Houston, but Houston's going to be the team that wins the West. You know.
That's no question. That team is so nasty, bro. I'm not a fan of them. I don't want to keep praising them because I have a Houston friend named Sanders. Shout out to Kelvin, who if I start just like all my Dodger friends, like they're gonna throw. Oh, you like us now? No, but I give props where it's due. You know what I'm saying? That team is well ran, and it's from the top. Yeah. It's from the top down, from the owners to the janitor. Everyone is. I'm telling you, this is how it's supposed to work. And I learned that as a sports fan how it works. Because I'm growing up, all I think about is getting the best players and the best coach, and you could win. No, it starts with those ownership. It doesn't matter how many good players you could put. If the ownership isn't behind you 100%, it's a wrap. That team.
They have meetings every year. Postseason, like right after the World Series is won. All these owners have meetings, and they have meetings about what is the short-term and long-term goals of this team and what the short-term and long-term plans are for these teams. And it's like the A's are the only team that's sitting there like, we need to cut payroll. Well, you're going to cut payroll so much, this is what you got.
Right.
You have guys on this team that shouldn't even be in the majors right now. You have career and minor league guys that you're giving chances to.
You got
career
over the hill guys too.
Guys that have passed their primes and guys that nobody wants.
Like I said, Elvis Andrus is getting paid $15 million, and he's probably
for
not
nothing.
Even. He's a platoon player probably. But if I'm there, he has to start because I'm paying you that much. So
you're paying $15 million for a .219 average, 3 home runs, and 11 RBIs.
It's sad, man.
Couldn't be me.
It's sad. This is why every time I play MLB The Show franchise, this is the team that I pick all the time to try to rebuild. And you see
Couldn't be me.
I'm building their new stadium as we speak with my board ass on leave. As you can see, I have my beard because I'm on leave right now. But you're talking about manager like David Frost, right? That's the general manager.
Yeah.
Mark Kotsay is the manager. Mark Kotsay used to play for them.
And I loved watching. Mark Kotsay was one of my favorite players that I used to watch.
Talk to me.
Play center field, man.
That's crazy. I'm looking at this up, right? Oh, I didn't know they were.
Brad Ausmus used to play. Like, those are two of my favorite players. Well, not Brad Ausmus. Mark Hartson used to be one of my favorite players as an A's fan. I watched him when I was in middle school.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it hit me when I started reading it. Mark Kotz, I was like, hold on. I know that name. It's like, he used to play. And he used to play for the Athletics. That's crazy to me. This team goes way back, 1901, bro, in Philadelphia. Then in 1955, they go to Kansas City, and then they move to Oakland. This is crazy to me. Plus, one of the hardest jerseys I've always had or always wanted was because, Ricky Henderson is one of, the poster boy of the Athletics for me. It's that green that's on your jersey.
It's so much history, man. Like, they have so many, like Hall of Fame players that have gone through Oakland, which is so crazy to me.
Look at your jersey. Who was that?
Eckersley. You got Ricky Henderson. You got Catfish
Reggie
Hunter.
Jackson.
You know what I mean? Reggie Jackson was another one. They couldn't even keep him because he wanted to
Raleigh Fingers.
By the blue. Yes. You got all these players that used to be, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so crazy to me that, like, they had the early 2000s when they had Eric Chavez, they had Miguel Tejada, they had Barry Zito, they had Mark Kotze, they had Mark Ellis, they had, what was his name? Reddick was there for a little while, too. I think it was Reddick. No. I'm thinking of, what's his name? He went to play for Boston, and then he finished his career in J.D. Drew. That's what I'm thinking of. J.D. Drew, and he finished his career in L.A.
Nice.
That J.D. Was that?
He was nice.
They all were nice. And they all have one thing in common, minus Eric Chavez. They all left. They all left. Every single one of them. All of them left.
The Oakland A's won 9 World Series titles, 1910, 1911, 1913. Just think about this, right? I just literally said 1910, 1911, so they repeated. Lost in 1912, won in 1913. Then you get into 1929, 1930. This is all when they're in Philly, of course. Then goes 1972 and 73, so they repeat it again, lose it and get 74, and then they're very, most recent is 89. But that is 15 AL pennants, 17 West Division titles, 4 wild card berths. Oh, man, that's crazy. You said John Fisher as the owner. He needs to go. He needs to go.
Man.
Talk to me about him. Talk to me about this owner.
I mean, his dad found Gap. Does that count for anything?
Whoa. I didn't know that.
His pops found Gap.
I did not know that.
I mean, I don't know much about who he is personally, because he's been the owner for a while, actually. I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
And it shows. And it shows.
Yeah, he's been the owner of the A's 2005. Him and Lewis Wolf bought the team in 2005.
And what have they shown since 2005 is what I'm saying. It's just it really pisses me off. What's funny is I'm pissed off, and I'm not even an A's fan.
You want to hear the most infuriating thing?
Go ahead.
His net worth is $2.4 billion as of 2015.
Cheap bastard.
100 million of that, $0.1 billion, could be used to put a team together. And he'd still be worth $2.3 billion.
It's amazing to me. But then, you know what's funny, too? You looked up his net worth, right? That's inaccurate. So, a lot of the times, I'll look at YouTube. YouTube's my favorite thing. A lot of people, call, these new age. Oh, they call cap on their net worth. Like, Chad Ochocinco was one. He was like, oh, you're only 10 mil. And literally shows his phone with his app to the person on that podcast, and it was more than that. So, just imagine. If you think it's what you say it was,
Forbes estimated his net worth in 2015 to be $2.4 billion with a B, billion dollars,
which means it's probably way more than that, way more. That's probably inaccurate. Like every other person that I've seen, is
If
inaccurate.
I had that kind of money and I was the owner of a team, bro. But that's how much of a sports fan I am, though. I'd want to compete every year.
Yo,
You know,
so
you know what I mean?
so I don't know about you, but for me, there's one place, and now I don't know the construct because it's a man-made area. I would build my stadium on Treasure Island, bro. That little, you see the view you can get from both sides of Oakland and San Francisco. Even
Yes.
all right, so scratch that. I'll leave it on Oakland. You can. I want a waterfront where you can see the Bay Bridge, just like how you can see it in San
I'd
Francisco.
want my stadium as close to Jack London Square as possible.
As possible, and
And the reason why I would do that is because I'm such a fan of the Rocky Stadium, and there, literally, you walk out, you go over a block, and it's just all bars and restaurants for like 2 or 3 blocks.
That's
All
the
bars
same-
and restaurants and stores.
that's the same
That's all
thing
it
down.
is.
Yeah, that's the same thing on Embarcadero for the Giants.
People get out of that stadium like on a Friday night game in Denver, ends at about 10 o'clock, and they just they're all of their Rocky shit. They all go right across the street to these bars, and they're there till 2 in the morning. Like, who doesn't want to have that kind of fun after a game?
That's
You know what I mean?
And then
It's
Jack London
awesome.
Square.
And they're
Jack
literally
London Square
just
can
they're
do
all
that.
just walking the streets. They're walking in the street, getting wrecked, and just
So-
partying, having a good time.
Just think about that. Jack London Square. We talking about the city. That is a perfect spot. I don't understand. Just wreck everything. Just what are you doing with Oracle Arena? You're doing Monster Jam and freaking. You make Halloween Spirit there.
Disney on Ice. You know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
wreck
If you
that
Disney
whole
on Ice
area. Do what you're doing in San Francisco and gentrify it. I don't care. Do that. But that waterfront needs to be done. Go ahead.
I get it, and I am very sentimental to those stadiums. Me and my dad have a block there on the Walk of Fame there in Oakland between the stadiums. Like, our names are there, so like I'm very like sentimental on there because like our names have been there since I was like 4. So I
Mario.
don't want them to knock it down. But like I get it.
My first time ever going to a 49ers game was with my dad in Candlestick. You don't think I was heartbroken when now it's about to be a freaking apartment complex or a shopping mall? I don't know what they're doing. I haven't looked at it lately. When I went back home
condos and like
in Candlestick, it's called the Waters for anyone that knows. That used to be the drinking area and party area for a lot of us, right? We used to just go over there, park our cars, and have fun. It was called the Waters because it was right there on the front. But the last time I went there just to go chill with my family, I'm looking at an empty lot. I'm like in the back of my mind, history starts rolling. Like my very first time, I remember. I used to live on Geneva and Mission in the Excelsior district. Me and my dad hopped on the 9.
I was on 24th and Mission, man.
Yes,
I was on 24th and Folsom. 24th and Folsom for a little while.
You was way down. You was way down the 14 bus. But I take the 9. Yep. The 9 took me all the way down to 7-Eleven on Bayshore, and we walked. I remember this. It was raining, and I was having
which
a
is crazy.
time.
Like I don't know, I don't know who would want to go shopping in the Bayview Hunters Point area. Not me.
That shit was next. That shit was next to Double Rock Projects, like literally across the street.
That's the hood, bro. That is straight hood.
Across the street, the whole time Candlestick, Double Rock is right across the street. And you're right. Like that's what's crazy about the whole thing too is like it's literally next to the hood. Like that's why the new owners and San Francisco decided to rebuild and move it to Santa Clara to get away from Double Rock and the Bayview Hunters Point. And for the Oakland A's right now, they have to do the same exact thing. They need to move, but they need to move, like you said, to either Fremont or Alameda or that Jack London Square front on International where you can see the Bay Bridge. And bro, I'm telling you, Treasure Island, if y'all don't know, if you're not from the Bay, Treasure Island is somewhere, like, when I go there, there's apartment complexes there and shit, but other than that, it's a rundown area. It looks like it was an old naval base or something like that. old little
Yeah.
military. It looks like it when you go there. There's a gate and everything to enter.
Yeah.
Put the minor leagues team in there. Put something
Yeah.
so that we can go to Treasure Island and watch these things instead of just going there to take a
Facts.
picture on the skyline. Matter of fact, the MLB The Show is about to have a Treasure Island stadium soon. I'm about to make a minor league stadium soon. But all in all about this team, we all know. So you know about the rumors with Frankie Montes, right? He's out of here. I expect him by All-Star break to be a Chicago White Sox playing for the South team. I think Ramon Laureano is next on that trade block, and Sean Murphy. I think they're sellers. You got to understand, like you're nowhere. Just as
Montas and Murphy, I think, are the only ones left worth anything.
You don't think Laureano's worth something?
I mean, he's not having that great of a season. So if anything, they're going to get what they want from him because they're going to have to sell low.
Yeah, they have to. Yes, you're right. But the reason why, like I said, like when it comes to being a general manager, right? You got to put your what's his name? I forgot his damn name already. But just put your shoes in the general manager's shoes. You don't just look at skill, you look at potential, and then you look at their age. So you're looking at Montes at 29.
Laureano's
27.
Yeah, he's almost the same age as me.
Yeah, and Sean Murphy's 27 as well. So
he'll probably
you're looking at prime ages.
He'll probably go, but like that's like their only pieces. So
you know they're not selling it. I mean, you could talk about Blackburn. You could sell Black, even though he's a 2-year player.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't know, man. These days make me sad.
We've been talking about the Oakland A's. Potentially could be the Las Vegas A's,
or the Fremont A's, or the Alameda A's.
I don't care. Keep them in the Bay is all I care about. Keep them in the Bay. And what's funny is they're AAA.
The thing is, the MLB wants to keep them there in Oakland. Like the MLB as a league wants to keep them there in Oakland
because they understand the history. That's why they don't look at it as a business.
They get the market is getting bigger, but at the end of the day, like, what are you gonna do?
Right. But, man, it really sucks. I know that we've been ranting about this the whole time. But just think about it. The Aviators are where? They're in Las Vegas. So they have a AAA team there. Are they going to... I haven't met... Do you know any teams right now that... Major league teams that have the same city as the AAA? Can't think of that, huh? Because if they go to Vegas, now they have their AAA team there too, which is,
I don't think so.
You don't want that.
So they're not they're not usually like there, but a lot of them are like in the vicinity of that. Like you got like the Fresno Grizzlies, you got the Sacramento River Cats, you got the San Jose Giants out here for the Miami Marlins. They have the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimper out here. That's their AAA team.
Right.
Colorado for a long time used to have theirs in Colorado Springs before they did some weird thing with that team and turned it into an independent league team. And that was only like an hour and a half away. So you got teams that are like Boston has the Pawtucket Red Sox. They're in the vicinity, but not in the same city. Because at the same time, those minor league teams have to make their money too. So why would you put a minor league team in the same city as a big league team? Because people are just going to go see the big league team play.
And that was my point is, what if they do go to Vegas? Where does that leave the AAA team? Do you move that AAA team somewhere?
They'll move them somewhere.
Carson City, Aviators?
Well, they have the Reno Aces, but, Reno.
It would most likely be the capital of Carson City. Listen, majority of this time that we've talked, man, it's been a sad, sad podcast. Where's your final words on... First of all, how many... Before I cut this off, how many names... Because I know if I talk shit, it doesn't matter. Giants had Pac-Bell Park, SBC Park, AT&T Park. Now it's the Oracle Park. Same thing with the Candlestick. It was the 3Com Park, Candlestick Park. How many
3
names?
Wow. I heard that.
I threw it back.
I almost got. Yeah, my eyes almost rolled in the back of my head when I heard that. God damn.
Ring Central Coliseum. Ricky Henderson Coliseum. What other names were there for this stadium? And it sucks that it doesn't have a Kauffman Stadium, you know what I mean?
Well, it was they had, what was it? O.co was what it was for a while. It was Overstock for a while. Everybody, like, the thing is, like, that place, no matter who you asked, just like Candlestick, no matter who you asked, whatever name you gave it, that's Candlestick. You know what I mean? For the Raiders, no matter where you are, that's the Coliseum. Doesn't matter whether they call it O.co, Overstock,
It's the Coliseum.
Kmart, Walmart. That's just the Coliseum. You know what I mean?
So we're gonna close it out, but before I close it out, give me your top 5 all-time athletics players to ever lace up cleats or whatever they did in 1807.
We're talking like top players, not just like my favorite players growing up.
We'll go top 5 all time, and then give me your top 5 favorites.
See, I don't want to rank them in order because
don't
gonna
do
be
it.
hard.
Just because this is
gonna
random.
give you
It wasn't
5
on the
names.
notes.
All right, you don't have the conversation without Ricky Henderson in that
At
list.
all. Yep.
I
agree.
Dennis Eckersley, one of the greatest, probably top 10 closers of all time. You have to put in that list.
Mm-hmm.
Catfish Hunter, you have to put in that list. You know, I gotta put Jason Giambi in that list as well. And then, this is tough. This is tough. You'd have to go Vida Blue, really. I wanted to say Mark McGuire, but you have to go Vida Blue.
Exactly. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I just wanted to see where your mind was with the top 5. So what is it? Giambi, Vida, Eckersley, Henderson, and who?
And Catfish Hunter.
That's a beautiful 5.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be.
So who's your favorite 5?
Oh, hold on. Let me take. I gotta take.
I almost think I know who you're gonna say, but go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta take Jason Giambi off. You gotta put Reggie Jackson in there.
I was about to say, when you said Jason Giambi, I was like,
I know how many years he spent there, but like, I don't think of Reggie Jackson. I forget that he played for the A's. Everybody knows he played for the Yankees, and I remember that he played for the Angels. I don't think about him playing for the A's, even though I know he spent like a good amount of time there.
All right, so I was hoping you said that because when you said Jason Giambi, I was like, okay. All right, you're taking away someone, and I believe it was Reggie Jackson, but it's okay. You saved yourself.
No, yeah. I just forget that that's where he played.
Who's your top 5 favorites?
Favorite players of all time? Eric Chavez was number 1 for me. Couldn't stay healthy, but I loved him. Huge Eric Chavez fan. Diehard Eric Chavez fan. I was a huge Jason Kendall fan when he played for the A's. I was a huge Mark Kotsay fan. Was a huge Miguel Tejada fan. And let's see. Those are like the big 4 for me.
Eric Chavez just got nominated right now for the Athletics Hall of Fame, too. So,
like, Eric Chavez was my guy. I had an Eric Chavez jersey. I had the green spring training Eric Chavez jersey. I had the stupid elephant on there. I loved Eric Chavez. And then another one. And this is going to suck to say this because, like, he only spent, like, 2 seasons there. Frank Thomas was my other favorite player. I'm a huge Frank Thomas fan.
You've always been that. For any other freaking podcast episodes.
I love watching Frank Thomas with the Oakland A's. Loved it. I loved every minute of it. I did.
You say it was 2 years?
Yeah, he spent like 2 or 3 years there. It was like his down years after leaving Chicago. But he was still hitting like 30 home runs. They went to the playoffs with him.
Yo, so I'm about to close it out. This whole podcast was a very sad story. I'm telling you. Because,
and Barry Zito.
Yeah.
Barry Zito was another one.
Who's a Giants World Series champ in his own right.
Won a Cy Young with the A's. My bad. I'm not trying to cut you off. Now I'm like into my childhood. My bad, man. I'm into my childhood now.
we could talk baseball all day long, but you know, these segments that I'm talking about right now, we have the Giants one that's already out. Now we're talking about the Oakland A's right now. The next episode will be the New York Mets. We're going to talk about the New York Mets next because that's the most exciting team to our knowledge, or the most talked about team. But it was a very sad podcast only because we're emotionally attached to the Oakland as a city, the town as we speak. And I just hope that they stay in Oakland as much as you do. I just hope they don't go nowhere. I just keep the Athletics in Oakland. That's all I care about. This is another episode, right? We don't know the name of our channel for the baseball talks just yet. Don't even ask Mario what his first suggestion was.
Going deep.
Big pause. But listen, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, and I would love for y'all to comment and let me know how y'all feel about the Oakland Athletics.